what information is it helpful for a capacity assessor to have about an individual and their circumstances before assessing them?
So I think it's really important to understand the individual. All of our decisions that we make are based on our previous experiences. So for me, the more I can understand the individual, the more I can start to understand why they're making these decisions, what's led them to this stage. And then when we start to think about, well, I need to be able to support the individual, so I need to know about their communication skills, I need to know about kind of how they interact, all those sorts of things. So having a really good understanding of the individual is really, really helpful. But that's kind of one part of the knowledge that I need, the evidence. So I would also need stuff around kind of how any cognitive impairments they have. So whether they have difficulty remembering stuff or concentrating or engaging. I also need to understand the background to the information that's being given. Right? I'm not a solicitor. I'm not a financial advisor. If you ask me, to do an assessment around setting up a bare trust, then I'm going to be coming back to you and say, well, so what is this relevant information around the bare trust, right? So what? Yeah. Because if I don't know what they need to understand, how can I assess them for understanding that?
Yeah. So could a family member or a person that didn't have a legal background instruct you, do you think?
They could. And I do take private clients on, as I know other assessors do. My preference would always be to go through a solicitor, because what I found in the past is the individual comes up to me and says, oh, I think my son needs assessing for this. And then we get that assessment done, and I'll come up to you, Holly, and you'll be like, no, that's not the decision we need assessing for at all. And, we've then, it's not, not wasted, but there's been an assessment that doesn't need to have been done, right? And then we need to go back and we need to redo it. And there's quite often nuances and things that you'll pick up on that the layperson isn't aware of. Yeah. So, having you on board just makes it easier and smoother the whole way through.
Well, I see my job is to make the assessment as watertight and as good as possible to help it stand up in court if it ever got to court. And one of the harder things I have to do in my job is say to people when they come in and say, I've got this assessment, they're fine, they could do this. And I was like, well, look at the assessment, it was 5 years ago, it was done by a GP in 10 minutes with no letter of instruction. And they've been, often a family member will really be placing a lot of weight on that assessment, and it will guide how they interact with other professionals and guide how they conduct themselves and how they interact with their family member. And it can be it's a hard thing to manage, but also if you can then say, actually, we can get a better assessment, and that will really give you weight, and this will really give you authority to talk to local authority or to GPs, and give you that ability to sort of smooth the path for a more productive and helpful conversations to be had in the future. And it's a really good assessment done, and a good assessment's worth its weight in gold. It can be referred to for years, and it can be the baseline for future assessments as well. So it really is worth getting it done properly, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%.